Hello, my name is Lukey, and I'm a Streamaholic.
And hello, I am the Warship, and I'm a Streamaholic, and welcome to the very first of a new era for Streamaholics. How are you doing there, Lukey? We are audio as well as video, depending on where you're listening to this or watching it. You can either see our beautiful faces or you can't. You can either just hear them, maybe hear. Can you hear a face? You can't hear a face. I am full of it today. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I am just talking absolute and utter rubbish.
I would just like to say thank you to people from the future that are listening back on this for when we were just little nobodies in the streaming before we blew up and became huge, big phenomenons and stars in the industry.
This was the moment. This was the moment that we became something special. So, essentially, we just want to kind of let you guys know that whilst this is the very first episode you audio listeners may be hearing, we have had about a year's worth of content so far in a different format. So whilst we are sort of used to what we're doing here, this is a brand new jaunt for us. We're moving in a completely new direction here, and we're hoping to reach more people with the audio side of things as well. Because quite frankly, when it comes to the video side of things, there's only so much that you can do. I don't really listen to podcasts where I watch the people, unless they're people that I directly know or it's a subject that I'm really interested in. The best time for me with podcasts is on like a 45-minute, 50-minute drive, if I'm going the other side of town, or, if I'm at the gym and I'm getting through my workout, and I don't want to listen to some heavy music for a bit. I just want to vibe out and listen to some people talk about shit, so... Yeah, hopefully we reach a bunch of brand new people with this experience, and we get to kind of teach you guys a little bit about the streaming world, our experiences with it, and a little bit of the old news and fun stories as well. So I guess from a first point of view here, first point of contact, Lukey, we do this at the end usually, but let's start with it. Lukey, why don't you tell them about yourself?
Well, my name is Lukey, of course, but I go by the name Lukey Bangers everywhere. I don't really do content right now, but I come from a background of doing a character stream on various platforms, Facebook, Mixer, and Twitch, so I've been everywhere, man. And right now I'm just, as being part of the Goa team for a bit now, doing the Streamaholics and getting this off the ground. I do plan on streaming again, but yeah, I started probably... mid 2018 or something, so about 3 or 4 years experience. Yeah, that's me, I guess. Shippy, how about yourself? What do you...
So my world's a little bit different. I have had barely 2 years experience in streaming. However, I was very lucky. I had a really, really good start. I went from nothing, rags to not riches, but rags to slightly better rags over the course of about a year and a half of streaming. And that's because I come from a background in entertainment. I used to be a professional wrestler, suplexes, power bombs off the top rope, all that kind of stuff. Rest in peace. All those kind of things, I didn't try to do the eye thing there because no one's watching, because maybe you're listening audio. Maybe, who knows? But yeah, so I used to be a pro wrestler. I had an injury where I essentially had a broken neck for ages and didn't know about it. And then the doctor, all of a sudden I couldn't feel my body, and the doctor's like, wow, how are you still able to, exist? And yeah, so essentially I had surgery. Wrestling, the door was closed pretty much forever. So I needed to do something with all of the energy and all of this, all of the extra bullshit that is me as a human being. So I started content creating, and it went really well, and I met a bunch of great people, and then I slowly but surely integrated myself, as stuck the needles in and got the knife and just dug it into Goa, until eventually they said, yeah, why don't you come on and do a podcast? That'd be kind of cool. And that's sort of why I'm here. I didn't threaten specifically. I didn't actually threaten violence to Pete, but just don't tell anybody, understand? Why is the intro rolling again? Oh my god, that button will be the death of me. Don't worry about that. That's fine. It's the only time it will happen ever.
What intro?
We can cut that now, right? Now we can cut that because the audio. Wait. Back to where we were before I said anything.
We don't even need to cut that. We don't even need to cut anything. We can do anything on here. It does not matter anymore.
All of my mistakes will now be laid to bear. But at the same time, maybe maybe they won't be. Who knows? Maybe this will be the crisp podcast. Super crisp, super healthy. There'll be no problems with it. You know, we haven't got a really good track record with not stuffing this podcast up. We tend to sort of botch it a little bit. You know, there are times where we say the wrong thing, particularly me. We say the things that we shouldn't be saying. We talk about subjects we shouldn't be talking about. There have been plenty of times where I've gotten that look from across the room when we've been talking, and I'm like, but why can't I mention? Why say anything about? And for me, it's normal stuff that you can talk about. Like, but apparently you're not allowed to talk about when you put your hands in, because that's bad. So, you know, I do my best now. I'm really trying to be a good boy when it comes to it. And yeah, that's kind of what we do, I think. We cover topics as it relates to streaming, whether it is streaming advice for new people, whether it is mental health stuff, because, you know, obviously as content creators, we go through the thick of it. Whether it's news and information on the latest streaming stuff, you know, like content creators doing things and making moves from different platforms, or even just general conversation about the world in which we live. So, yeah, I think that for me, this has been a really, really good sort of hour to hour and a half chat once a week. But it'll be really interesting to see if you guys like it too.
Yeah. It's just Friday night chats about two, and the parts that I like about it is when we do start talking about like the streaming, like the not always like the bad mental health, but just the trials and tribulations of being a streamer, and we get right into the nitty gritty of that sort of thing and offer our experiences. We often get caught up talking about the latest gossip with you know, Amaranth, or what's going on with Amaranth this week, or you know, that sort of thing. But I really do like the talks where we just lay it all out. That's where Streamaholics comes from. You know, I'm Lukey, I'm a Streamaholic. It's like a group of people sitting in a circle talking about their experiences, and that's the whole idea.
I have to get a new chip every week, though. That's the worst part about the whole thing. You know, I get like a 4-day chip, and then I'm straight back in there because goddamn, if I'm not addicted to this thing that we do.
I know. It's kind of back to front, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Alcoholics Anonymous, you're not supposed to drink. Streamaholics, you're not supposed to stream.
It doesn't quite work that way. I think maybe. I think we got it backwards. Cool. But yeah, so I guess one of the things that we want to talk about today, and a good way for us to broach into the topics in general, is the big question right now. The big question on everyone's lips, the thing that I get asked all of the time, and is it over? Is the boom done? Now that COVID has settled down and people are moving into their own routines and their lives again, are we done? Because I know a lot of content creators have made massive moves in the last 2 years, and it's not necessarily off the backs of illness or anything like that, but people have needed this shit. Like, from my point of view, at least, the way that I presented my content and have done for the past couple of years is that, yes, the world is in a really horrible place right now. If you need somewhere to go to have a beer, if you need someone to talk to, a shoulder to cry on, whatever it is, you need a friend, because there are no friends right now because everybody's sick. And have you even seen a friend that doesn't look like Scorpion or Sub-Zero for the past 2 years because they're masked up? You know, like, it's been a really weird time for a lot of people, and a lot of content creators, myself included, have absolutely seen massive ups because of that time. Now, as it's shifting and we're getting to the point where the world is kind of getting back to its feet and moving on again, a lot of the downturn that's happening is causing a big strain on people, a massive mental health strain on people. And, you know, myself included, I have hit lower than I've ever thought I'd be emotionally, mentally, because streaming saved the hell out of me. Like, after losing wrestling and not having it anymore, like, the one thing that I had spent my whole life geared towards. I remember I was like 7 years old when I saw my first wrestling match, and all I ever wanted to be was a goddamn professional wrestler. And I got to do it for a very long time, but then it was gone. So streaming came out of nowhere, like an RKO. It hit me from out of nowhere, and it really did bring that back for me. It really did bring it back. And I thought I had hundreds of friends, thousands of friends. You know, my follower count's like nearly 6,000 in the last couple of years, and I honestly thought that I had nearly 6,000 friends. But the way that things work is that people will come, people will go, people only use what they can before they move on a lot of the time. And this is a big point of conversation at the moment for me, is the feeling of being used for the purpose of personal growth without, you understood what the deal was for me, and you understood what it meant to me to have you there. But now that you don't need me anymore, it's like I don't matter. So that's been my mental struggle. I put it akin to the last couple of days. I put it akin to saying I'm in the arcade, right? So everyone's been there. They've been playing a time zone all day. Boop, 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 boop. Resident Evil, all the things, all the new games that they're playing. House of the Dead, Time Crisis, all the stuff that's currently playing in time zone because they're always there. They've been there for 20 years at least, and but the lights go off, right? And you get to go home to your job. You get to go home to your life outside of streaming because you don't rely on it. So when the lights go off and you go home, you don't have to think about it anymore. And if you never come back, then that's fine because you have got your own world. You're working, all that kind of stuff. But for people like me in this position as a streamer, we stay there. Or when the lights are off, man, we stay there. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's for us. We're hiding around the corners waiting for animatronics to come kill us. Like we are still there. We stay, we persist when it all disappears. When you go away and then the next person comes along and then the next person comes along and then the next person comes along, and that is the kind of path that we take. And for me, it's been really, really difficult to kind of consolidate that feeling because it's like, if you give of yourself to so many people as much as you do, when they go and you wait for a new one to come, it's like you have to make a new friend again, and that's hard, So the question that I pose to you is do you think now, after a year and a half of the pandemic being what it is, do you think now that it is over? The stream thing for a lot of, let's say 60, maybe 50% of the community, do you think that dream is over now? And because they're dropping back down to, their ones or twos or fives, or in my case, like the 40s, the 50s, as far as viewership goes, does that mean that is it over? Is the boom done? Should we just accept that this is what we get to be now, or is there more to it?
No, yeah. So there's a lot there. I'm just
there always
try and
is.
tackle the one. There always is. It'll start out and there'll be like the one question at the start, and Shippy will start talking about that, and I'll go, "Here's my response I'm gathering in my brain," and then Shippy goes down this road over here, and I'm like, "Hang on, I'm going to remember this one. Oh, now I've got a point about that one," and and then. Yeah, after a while, there's just so much that Shippy talks about because he's so passionate about all this stuff. And then I don't know where to start. So I'm glad at the end there you brought it back to me and you just like, is the boom over? Like, I can just focus on that bit for now. So the way I kind of look at this sort of subject in terms of like right now, July 2022, yes, we had like a pretty big uptick in streamers on the platforms during the and viewers as well during the COVID pandemic, and as you say, people not being able to do the usual things, so they've found things they can do at home to find other people to hang out with, and it's streaming and communities and discords and groups and all that sort of stuff online. And a lot of people have discovered this Twitch thing, and maybe they've become a streamer because they've always watched streams and, well, now I haven't got a job and I might as well just throw on the camera and do some streaming and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And now we've seen it come down. I think it was always likely to come down when things turn to normal. Thankfully, the numbers are like still much higher than what they were pre-pandemic overall over the whole industry. Yep. The fact that YouTube's making moves now and putting a lot more focus on their live streaming part of the content as well as edited videos is really good for people who want options. So there's also that too, like people are moving between platforms and trying different things out. But the overall, is the boom over? I'd have to say like, no. I feel like I see this all the time. Like even since I started, as I said, like mid 2018, there's always a wave of like all these new people that are starting out and it just doesn't turn out to be what they thought it was going to be, and then they disappear again, and then more people find streaming, or they've been thinking about it for a couple of years and they're finally in a position to be able to do something. Like, you know, the kids that are 12, 13, 14, 15, getting older, they still can't stream, they don't have the equipment, and like those people that have been watching Twitch for years as kids, a lot of those guys become, you know, they're now 17, 18, 19, and they've got part-time jobs. They can now afford like a camera, and they can now start streaming. So there's always like this wave of people coming into the industry, and for the most part, I think a lot of people come in, and it's very community based, and you can find those communities, which is really great. But a lot of the people that come in, and I mean, I'm one of them, I could openly admit I'm one of them, that come in and they like, oh, I'd love to earn lots of money playing video games and hanging out with people, like, and after 6 months it doesn't become that, and then they just disappear. But it's the ones like yourself and other people that realize that it's an industry that's full of ebbs and flows, and you've got to make sure that you're always thinking about the next thing creatively. Like, what am I going to do to uptick that? Am I going to diversify across different platforms and try out different things as things start heading down? Like, you've got a real passion for creativity and creating content, which is why I love content creation. And I've had people, like, I've switched platforms, so I've had to start again with new communities like a couple of times. And even while streaming on a platform, I've had people come and people go, or you don't play a certain game, so they've disappeared one day. You play their game again and they're back again. And I don't know I know that it got me a little bit when at certain points when I've had a dip, and I've regretted decisions I made with switching platforms before, and we've spoken about that before. You know, for those listening, I used to do quite well on Facebook and then switched to Mixer, and was slowly building my brand on Mixer when Mixer closed. And now try Facebook out again. Those people aren't there anymore. It had been 8-9 months. And so I regretted moving from Facebook in the first place. So I've had to deal with those sort of things. But in terms of people coming and going, I don't think I ever got to the stage where it really got me that people came and go. I was always looking at the bigger picture of my content, like where I wanted to be. And to me, although the community and like, you know, the people that rock up to Streamaholics every week is very important to us, and we really appreciate those people every time they rock up and they're in chat and you see them in Discord. To me, that's really great, but you can't, I never really got myself bogged down on certain individual people if they came and went, because I don't know what's going on in their own life. So I had to wrap my head around and have the perspective of like, it's really just my channel growth thing. Like, am I seeing my channel grow in the right ways? And, you know, using my creative juices to try and entertain people while I'm there, and hoping the algorithms then figure themselves out so more people can find me. This is the end goal that you kind of try to look at. But yeah, it can be, like I say, it's just still a hard thing to wrap your brain around, that people used to watch you, where are they now? Like, that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, and look, that's a big thing too, is that everyone does have their own lives and stuff. But when it comes to this sort of thing, my real feeling about it is that, yes, people will always come and go. But you need to see, if you are focused on making this your job and like a career path moving forward, content creation overall, you should be posting everywhere. That's one thing we've always spoke about. But you should always see a net up. You know what I mean? So if I've been streaming to 50 people and 10 of those people can't be there anymore for whatever reason, you should see 15 people that replace those 10. You know, you should always have a up, because if you're playing new games, if you're introducing them to if you're introducing yourself to new people on the platform, even if you're playing the same game every day, you should be seeing a net up, because you have got a very limited amount of time to get a person who comes into your stream and say, hey, look at this cool thing I do. Don't you like flashing things? And then they say, yeah, okay, I do like flashing things, and I'm going to stick around. You know, you've got a very small window there which you can do that in. Unfortunately, that's another big issue that we need to really talk about, is Twitch's stupid fucking advertising with their ads at the moment is killing me. But at the same time, like, you have a very small window for where you can actually get people and say, hey, what's going on? Do you enjoy what we do? But you should always see a rise. You know, if you're stagnating or even going backwards, there's a problem, and that problem becomes, is it a problem with me? What am I doing wrong? You know, rather than, you know, people have their own shit to do, and I get that, because I do, trust me. When I say I understand people leaving, that's all a part of it right now, right? You know, people will always come, people will always go, people will always come, but they will always go as well. And that's because at the end of the day, that's how the internet works. That's how the platform has always worked. But you should still see, with each person that goes, you should see people arrive. And with any luck, that will continue to go in an upwards direction. Now, for myself, it's not really doing that. I will get a net up every day of followers. Like, I will constantly have new followers coming through. It's not as much as I'd like it to be, obviously, but I will always see more as we go. And then from there, you would hope would be the ones that they would stick around, you know? So that then if people do leave, you've at least got that. At the very, very worst, in a perfect world, you will level out. In a perfect world, you might lose 10 and keep 10. You know, so you might have an average of 50 people in your streams, and you might lose 5, and then you might get 5 more. And in the perfect world, that's manageable. I will always miss the 5 that we lost from 6 months ago, but hopefully the new 5 who are here will now be here for another 6 months before another new 5 come through. You know, that's just the way that it is, you know, unless you have people like, I've got a few people who I consider to be like family level of supporters to the channel, you know, people who will be there every day, no matter what. And those people, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people who say, yes, I will, but then they don't, because other stuff happens in their life and they can't be. And that's fine. But in those moments, you really should be going up with like a new person. And if you're not, that's a problem. And right now, that's what I'm seeing happening. I'm seeing less people arriving and staying than I was ever before. So my question is that will it come to a point now in a year's time where I average 20 people instead of the 50 that I do right now? And that's a terrifying prospect, because this literally pays for my family. You know what I mean? So it's a scary time for content creators when it gets that way. So yeah.
At least you're starting to look at the diversification of your content, because like that's the whole problem with being on Twitch, is that it doesn't have. We talked about a feature last week that was a step in the right direction for helping people that are smaller get discovered. We talked about our wish list of what we wanted Twitch to do with the short form content and that. But anyways, what Twitch has got right now, ever since I started streaming way back when, the whole thing has always been if you want, how do you grow your Twitch channel? Make a YouTube. Like, that's how you make it on Twitch. That's how that's how stupid the platform is in terms of like there's got no algorithm or discoverability. Like, that's why I was quizzing you the other week on, like, I was trying to work out like what is it that Shippy did, like how did he get that little jump? How did he get to where he is right now? I know his content's good, but the thing is, you know, I constantly see this. I see people that have way better content than me streaming to 10 people all the time, and they don't grow. I'm just like, how are they not growing? Like, but it's because Twitch can't help you grow at all. So you've got to find that thing outside of Twitch which brings viewers to Twitch somehow, and which makes it really, really bloody hard. So that's the problem when 5 people do disappear from your regular stream. How do you replace those people? Because you can't just stream 50 hours a week and hope that people are going to rock up when you're streaming on a platform that doesn't have any way for people to find you. Like, people go to Twitch and go and click on who are the people that I'm following that are live right now.
Yeah.
Or they click on their tweets or whatever. They go to people's particular pages knowing that they're live right now. Like, people don't use Twitch for the most part. And I saw a YouTube channel that does a lot of stream advice. Put a post on Twitter where they were asking you what you usually do when you go to Twitch, and something like 95% of the votes, can't remember how many votes, a few hundred votes, something like 95% of them either clicked on I go straight to the streamers that I follow and see who's live, or I go directly to a streamer knowing that they're live, something like that. Like, people don't usually, so that left like 5% of those people in that short little survey that actually go to the homepage and find streamers in other ways somehow. Yeah. Because of the platform. It's just the type of platform it is and the way it's set up at the moment.
So I guess a final word on this then is that what's your answer? Your answer is diversify content, making sure that you have multiple platforms. One of the platforms that we're working off right now is making sure that Streamaholics gets onto the audio platforms as well, because that will hopefully increase the brand for what we do here. It'll help increase Goer's branding. It'll help increase Streamaholics' own individual branding. Diversification is the way, as far as I understand. So for me, I have a YouTube channel, which I struggle on a lot. I have a TikTok, which we just hit 500, which I think lets me stream live, but not via OBS. For some stupid fucking reason, you can't stream to both. Like, you can't have it on OBS unless you get a key, which is garbage, because what do you want me to do? You want me to sit here like a stupid dickhead and take a video like this and be like, oh yeah, guys, I'm live right now, and I'm live right now. I don't know what else to say, but I'm live here. This is a really shit angle. That's all I can do. Hey, look, here's the gameplay. You want to watch? Look at this. I'll check it out right now. Oh, wow. Look, I'm going to play Fall Guys. Woo! Like, do you give a shit about this? No. How is this helping me at all? It's not helping me even in the slightest. It does nothing for me. Like, I want to be able to go straight to say, all right, you want to see some real shit. You want to see cool transitions. You want to see people doing dumb shit. Then you got to come to this channel and check it out, because I will RNTP that bitch straight into a proper OBS setup that is set up for the exact right sizing that it needs to be for TikTok, in high quality camera with game shit in there as well. Everything that you need. I'll do it right now, but I don't have a stupid code, so I can't do it. So it's literally just me wasting my time, and maybe I'll just point the camera and put it on tripod and then point it at my feet and leave that on. I'll just leave a feet cam on, and then maybe more people will come. A feet cam with twitch.tv/The Warship on it, and that's all it'll be for an hour at a time, because there's literally nothing else that I can do. There's no other reason for it at all. It doesn't make any sense, and it just boggles my brain. But diversification. I know I Shippy ranted a little bit there. I know I did. I'm sorry.
Bringing the old school segments back. It's good.
But when it comes to it, like, yes, diversification. I would even suggest things like blogs. I would suggest, like, anything that you can do content-wise. Anything that you can do content-wise, be doing it. And that will hopefully translate. Yeah. That will hopefully translate into more viewers.
And that's the problem, is that as a content creator, is that not only do you have to produce good live content if the streaming is the thing that you do, but yeah, we're saying diversify, go make a YouTube or go make a TikTok or whatever it is, but then you've also got to try and figure that out. Yes, they have algorithms, which is the good thing. That's why we ask you to go there to find people, because you could actually catch algorithms and pop off and get some new viewers in, and then try and direct them to Twitch. But then it's still hard. You still got to try and create good content over there too. So it just becomes another thing. But you still got to do it. Like, there's no, you can't not do it, because you're not going to succeed. You have to give yourself the best chance. So, the other option is, like, I've been a big proponent of trying the other platforms out that have algorithms, but even then I still think, like, say you're a YouTube streamer and you're doing live streams there, I still think you need to edit content down and probably do some other stuff on days when you're not streaming, so you can put other content there as well. So you're still in the same boat. And look,
I get it too. See, that's the other problem, and I know we're running short on time somehow already, but one of the other things, the other problem is that creating content is not easy. Like, it takes a lot of time.
No.
And if I am streaming 40, 30, 26 even hours a week, if I'm doing 4 to 6 hours a night, man, I hate my voice. I know everybody has the frothy for it. I know everyone becomes moist like oysters to it, but I hate it. I personally despise hearing it. So, and it's not even the funny haha. Like, you know, I'd clip the moisty oisty bit out of what I just said right now and put it on TikTok, right? But the shit part that I hate is when I'm just like, oh yeah, really? Is that what's happening, chat? Oh, that's funny. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's really cool. You know, oh, let's get back to the game, shall we? And like that shit there, I hate that. And if I have to watch that for 4 hours, no, I'm not doing that. So having people who will actually get around and do those edits for you are really, really difficult and always costly. If you want to get it done, it will cost you money. If you do it yourself, you have to put up with the cringe of listening to yourself. And it really comes down to what you need to do is you need to get over that and do that anyway. But yeah, I find that personally very difficult. So I struggle with that myself. And my kingdom for a straight up editor who will be there to just take you know, me sitting in front of a camera for even an hour at a time doing the fucking, you know, like that whole thing. Like, man, you want to do that? Man, you want to take me sitting in front of the thing and hello everybody, my name is Markiplier. You want me to do that for me and do the let's plays and shit? Great. But then I sit there and I'm like, you know what? I'm pumped up. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm pumped up. Let's go and do it, right? And I'm I'm super keen. And then I sit down and I go, but why would anyone want to watch me do a Fortnite compilation? Why would anyone want to watch me play The Quarry for the first time? What do I do that makes people want to do that, you know, rather than just have it on stream?
What? Like, this is a serious consideration of mine when I return is, and I've suggested this to a lot of people in the past, and you maybe aren't financially in a boat to be able to do this, but I've always lately been a proponent of, if you love live streaming, just do edited YouTube content. Grow yourself to a point where you can add a live stream or two a week, and you know that people are going to be keen to watch you because you've created a following, and just focus on edited content.
In a perfect world,
you know, you're ranting. Yeah, I was just going to say, like, you're ranting and the way that you speak, like right now, I would love to watch you do Let's Plays. Yeah. Because you can edit out all the boring bits in between and just have 10 minutes of you talking like that. Yeah. Of a gameplay.
I would love to do that.
Funny.
Like, I would be so happy to do that, and I would love to do it. But the problem is the editing side and the cost involved in that too. Like, because as much as I could do it, man, I hate it. I would look at myself and I'd be like, look who looks like a big pig today. Look who looks like shit. Look who sounds like shit. I don't want to watch this guy for 4 hours because I have very bad, severe body dysmorphia issues and severe auditory Shippy hates himself talking issues, and they would all come to the forefront to the point where I would be watching a video for 4 hours going, this is shit, this is shit, this is shit, this is shit, and then I just wouldn't do it. And I've done that before. I recorded the Pony Island, the full series. There's one video on my YouTube. There's a whole series of content waiting there, but I sat there and I'm like, this is shit. And like, I've gone through so many different things like that. Like the kindergarten series, even though it was in my old setup and the camera wasn't well set up for it and it wasn't optimized like it is now, but even that series, I'm like, this is shit. And it gets proven to me because there's still very hard discoverability with YouTube as well, unless you know the algorithms. And when you're first starting out, you don't. It gets proven to me when I work 18 minutes with a friend who's an editor on a You Laugh, You Lose video with someone, and it's got 84 views 3 weeks later. You know, like...
Yeah, still pretty hard.
It's hard. It's hard. And I say, well, there's proof, you know? Like...
Yeah, it's still pretty hard to catch on. I think I talked about, I can't remember, there was a Minecraft streamer that does like almost D&D level like story writing into his Minecraft YouTube videos, and he took about 4 years and was about to give it up and one of his videos just was almost like his last video he was going to do, and it all of a sudden had like millions of views, and then he's obviously made more and become a big YouTuber now. And he, when you look back on his content, he has like secret things hidden in his videos from like 4 years ago that point them to different areas of his Minecraft world that no one's found yet, like on a server and all that sort of shit, like real D&D, like secret level stuff. And he's got stuff out there that may not ever get found in his YouTube world, in his Minecraft worlds, but people just really eat that shit up. But but it took him 4 years or so to get found, like to finally take off. So see, I'd
love to do that lore stuff myself. I would love to do a lot more around all of that kind of stuff too. That's a bit off topic for where we're at, but like for me, I'd love to do that kind of stuff too. But really quickly, because we are running low, somehow already on time. Speaking about YouTube, obviously big rest in peace once again from last week for Technoblade passing away. I have to say, before we get onto this absolute fuckwit, I have to say big ups to Mojang. Big ups to Mojang for actually on the launcher for Minecraft. When you launch the game now, in the top corner, the top right hand corner, there was always a pig. Now Technoblade's skin in Minecraft during all of like the different various games that he played and Minecraft Mondays and everything like that, it was always a pig with a crown. Now, to Mojang's credit, it's Mojang, I found out the other day. Also, to Mojang's credit, they've actually put a little crown on the top of that pig in the launcher, just as like a tribute. Because honestly, watching the impact that Technoblade had on the Minecraft community overarchingly was like really special to them, and I'm super glad they went ahead and they did something like that. That's a real when it comes really cool. to big plus symbol when it comes to Mojang and their whole thing. But this It's Owen fuckhead, I don't know, you were across this a little bit, I was across this a little bit too. I really want to touch base on it before we kind of end up here. This guy essentially just went to YouTube and posted this horrible video where it was like a Mr. Beast final goodbye to Technoblade. It was pure clickbait. It was pure trash. And it was just being a piece of shit in the video. It was just completely disrespectful. It was very obviously just using someone's really fresh death as a way to clickbait views and to grow the channel. This channel has 3.51 million subscribers, and YouTube said get fucked. YouTube said straight up get fucked and banned the channel. And now It's Owen's on there complaining like, oh, my YouTube channel with 3.5 million subs got terminated, please help me get it back, I'm so depressed right now, I don't know what to do. Well, here's an idea of what to do, not to do. Don't be a fuckhead and monopolize people's death for money and for profit, you piece of shit. Like, it's so bad. And then, again, to YouTube's credit, the reply to It's Owens was, we've reviewed your account and confirmed your channel was correctly suspended due to explicit content. I saw that. No, you will not be able to access or create any other YouTube accounts. So not only has this motherfucker been banned, he's been perma-banned, like leafy levels of banned. Like this, you can't even make a new account. Like gone, which is awesome. Like, such a good step forward for YouTube. And YouTube, honestly, they kick it out of the park with a lot of this stuff too. It's very rare for YouTube to get it wrong when it comes to banning people for a justifiable reason. They tend to get it pretty right. Wondering if you had any thoughts on it other than my very yelly, angry thoughts.
No, I think it's really great. I didn't get to see the video, but I've got the gist of it just by reading on Twitter that it was obviously very, not very good. I'm not very using very good vocabulary tonight, although that's a good word, vocabulary. But what I really like was the response, the back and forth between him and YouTube on Twitter in a very public space, not even behind the scenes emails or trying to make phone calls or anything like that. It's just publicly on Twitter, and YouTube's just gone, oh, can you please specify what you think we didn't get right with the ban so we can look into it for you? And then he's just like, oh, blah blah blah, I've lost my channel, I'm so depressed. And they've gone, oh yeah, we're still, and he's like, what, have you got an update for me? Yeah, we're still looking into it. Have you got an update for me? Yeah, we're still looking into it. Have you got an update for me? And they're like, yes, we've got an update. We've looked into it, and yes, you're banned.
Yeah.
Get out. And you know, if you have a normal job, right, and you're like fairly high up in a big corporation, you're making the big bucks and driving around in a nice car, and you do something like absolutely horrible and disrespectful to somebody or about somebody in the company who's died, you will get the sack, and you won't get your job back, and you'll have to go to elsewhere for employment. So good luck on Twitch.
Yeah, good luck. And honestly, good luck, because you get flamed to fucking shit here. Like, because now that the fire is burning, mate, you come to Twitch and they...
Yeah.
Because honestly, you deserve nothing less. And at the end of the day, like, couldn't say, obviously, if it affects this kid to the point where maybe, the bad thoughts creep in, we don't want that. But when you monopolize someone's death for your own profit, I hope you learned a fucking lesson, is what I'm going to say. I hope that you learned a lesson and that you understand that what you've done is you've pulled someone else's death into a dark place just because you wanted to make money out of it.
Yeah.
And, there's a big difference between this and your typical kind of, your shock jock, your Keemstar, like your Drama Alert people. Like, they report the news, right? Drama Alert in particular reports the news. It might not always be the news people want to hear. It might be invasive news, but it's always just the facts. Whereas this was just pure bullshit for the sake of bullshit. So... yeah, it couldn't have happened to a more horrible human being, if I'm honest with you. So I'm very happy to see that, and I'm very happy to see YouTube take a big W, because it's good to see. It's good to see YouTube following along with their community guidelines. At least people can talk to fucking YouTube. You can't say a single word, single word to Twitch and get any response back ever. So it's good to at least get that.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get a response from Twitch. No one knows why they've been banned or anything like that. YouTube's just out there, Twitter, like, publicly responding to him on Twitter, like, yeah, we're looking into it, mate. Yeah. And then they come back with, like, yeah, it contained explicit content and your ban still stands. So, very publicly, like, talk about transparency.
Yep. Whereas Twitch is like, oh, yeah, naughty, have 2 days off, and then when you come back, make fucking 7,000 subs. Like, and there's no culpability when it comes to Twitch's side of things, unless they ultra ban you for, like I said, nearly probably 50 episodes ago with my mate Sperm of Zeus for having the word sperm in his name. Something like that'll get you banned, but not something like this. And that spins me out. And yeah, like I said, I'm really, really glad that Twitch took YouTube has taken a hard stance on this, and I wish that Twitch would learn a little bit of a lesson. Like I wish that YouTube could teach Twitch how to be more transparent and more accessible to people. So yeah, I mean, we did pretty good, I think, today, considering we had a couple more topics to touch base on. They're not that super important. Things like Gathalion coming back to Twitch after Mixer, pretty much, not streaming since Mixer, and somebody else going back to YouTube. I forget who it was now.
Little jab at Facebook there, I see.
Oh, yeah, Lily Pichu, that's right, that's it. Yeah, little jab.
Goth's only been on Facebook for 2 years.
No. But yeah, I feel like the stuff, the extra stuff in there is a little bit, meh. Like, it's kind of here nor there. We can cover it next week anyway, because it will still be important information next week. But yeah, we did the intros at the start, so I guess all that's left for us is to say a big thank you to everyone for coming in on this one, because this was our first jaunt into audio. Hopefully you enjoyed it wherever you are. Lukey, you have a final word?
No, I just thank you everyone for joining. I hope I'd like to see some feedback in the Discord. Maybe did you like the short sharp? I think it went pretty well, trying to jam it all into 45 minutes. Keeps us on topic a little bit. Yeah, I liked it. I think we had a good night, and thanks everyone for joining us in the chat. And I said, yeah, really good.
It just means that I rant for longer, because honestly, I know that I took up at least 30 minutes of that talking rubbish. So that's fine.
We need a Shippy buzzer. Like I press, after 2 minute timer goes off and.
We need one of those mixers that allows you to mute me so that you can keep talking in spots, or where it puts a hand up, and then I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll put my hair. I'll stop talking after this next sentence, and then you can start talking again.
Need a virtual baton.
Yeah,
Whoever's
legitimately.
holding the baton gets to talk.
Legitimately. Well, I guess that's it for the day then, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for getting around it. Please do follow us on all the socials. I'm not sure how links work right now. I do know, however, when it comes to audio podcasts, is we don't really get any feedback in the form of, you know, your Anchor or your Spotify's and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't really show up. You can't really, you know, like it or anything like that. So please provide us feedback either in Discord or on our socials on Twitter as well. You can follow us. Feel free to do so.
Everywhere.
I promise you, I won't be mad if you follow us wherever we are. So yeah, for me, the Warship, for you, Lukey Bangers, I'm a Streamaholic. You're a Streamaholic, and now you guys, you're all Streamaholics too. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time.
Hey legend, thanks for watching the show. If you want to make sure that you're up to date with all of the Game On Oz content here on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.